this one. This is a little short one. Back when I was a teenager, my aunt would ask me to babysit her kids. It didn't happen often, so I really didn't mind as long as she bought me pizza. And her 2 children were behaved. Anyway, she was a divorcee, and after a couple of years, she remarried. His 2 kids were all right as well, and I didn't mind babysitting for them when they asked me about 3 months after their wedding. This is when it starts going downhill. Firstly, no pizza. Second, they came home 3 hours later than they said they would and didn't give me a lift home. I'm 16 at this point and a very big guy, so no worries walking home. But it was about 2 a.m. in the morning. Then they started to take advantage. Almost every week they wanted me to look after their kids for no pay, and would get extremely pissy about it if I refused. Often having a go at my mother, who would cry. I hated that. Fine. So they called me to look after their kids so they could go and do their regular. We'll be home by 10. We mean 1 a.m. Me, okie dokie, I rocked up. Sure enough, no food aside from the kids' dinner. I raided their fridge. Then at about midnight I woke the kids up. I took them into the lounge and put on a video. They were a little confused but excited to be up at that time. Then I gave them each a can of Red Bull and a packet of lollies. About 20 minutes later, their parents showed up, and I left. They never asked me to babysit for them again. Apparently, they shouted at my mother, and Dad told me off. Dad told me off, but he couldn't stop laughing, so I wasn't in too much trouble. So that one was a bit of a parents expecting him to do it for nothing and do it every week, and then in the end he had enough, so he got them up at 12 and made them unhealthy, so the parents wasn't happy. So let's read this one, entitled Mom Tells Kids to Move and Stop Hoarding the Sun. I honestly wish I was making this up. I was hoping to never have posted this on this sub, only read the stories. A little background. As I type this, I'm enjoying my last day with my grandparents in Florida while on spring break. I am from the north. I am so pale. I matched the sand at the beach. Yesterday, I went with my grandparents to the beach. And our story begins as I decided that day I'll go to the beach by myself. The beach wasn't busy, but it wasn't exactly empty either. This beach was quite popular due to it having free parking. I set my chair and cooler down, set up the chair and sit down and begin scrolling Reddit. About 10 to 15 minutes go by and I feel someone standing over me, then a tap on my shoulder. I turn around. Time to meet the cast. Okay, so that's the cast. And so we begin. Me, can I help you? In Type 1, yes, I was wondering if I could ask you to move so that we can sit here. I'm sorry, but I was here first and would rather not. There are plenty of good spots on the beach, though. But I need this spot. Why this specific spot? Because it's close to the exit and I don't want to make my kids walk too far in the sand. Also because this is where most of the sun is. I look at her kids, a boy and his sister. They look maybe 12 to 13. Both look like they just want to go and play in the water already. Your kids look fine. Why can't they handle a little walk? Just give me the spot. Ma'am, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was here first. I'm just relaxing and minding my own business. Also, there is an equal amount of sun this far down the beach. You can find another spot. Stop hoarding the beach and the sun. This is a public beach and you don't own it or the sun. Move now so me and my family can sit here. Remaining calm. Neither do you, which means I don't have to move. There's plenty of beach and more than enough sun for everyone. Do you know who I am? No, and honestly I don't care. At this point, LH walks up to us. Lady's husband walks up to her. Is everything okay here? This little brat won't move and give us this spot. He is hoarding the beach and the sun for himself. LH proceeds to look at his wife with his face. Wow, I married this. Honey, the kids and I have already set up a tent over there. He points to a white tent with a chair set up under it. The kids are now in the water playing in the waves. Why would you do that? Because it was an open spot. No! I wanted this spot. Move it all over here. Lady's husband, trying to remain calm. Dude needs a medal after this. Look, you could have been relaxing and spending time with our kids for about as long as you have been screaming at this man, who is minding his own business and enjoying the beach like everyone else here. Instead, you have been over here acting like a child and making a scene. Entitled Mom and I are in shock. The only time I agree with Entitled Mom this whole interaction. Entitled Mom stomps off towards the tent lady's husband apologised to me. They've been staying with his parents. Entitled Mum and lady's husband tend to argue a lot, so I put Entitled Mum in a bad mood. As a peace offering, lady's husband gave me a Pepsi from their cooler, and we both went back to relaxing at the beach. So, that one was quite funny, actually. He didn't want, she wanted to stop hoarding the sun and say that she doesn't own the sun. So, yeah. So that one was quite good. So this one. Next. Okay. Kid breaks my only birthday present after specifically asking him not to go in my room. And I get yelled at for almost hurting him. When I was about 13, I told my parents that all I wanted for my birthday was one of those plasma ball lamps. I've always wanted one because they're so badass and fun to play with. My family didn't have much money, so it was a big deal to me, even though it was only around $30. My parents were able to get me one, and I was absolutely ecstatic because my room contained a bed, a dresser, my collection of used books, and nothing else. Don't get me wrong, I knew I was as a lucky kid, and I've always been extremely grateful for everything I have since I know I had much more than a lot of other kids. But that plasma lamp made my room so much more exciting, and it made me extremely happy. The evening of my birthday, after they gave me the plasma ball, my parents threw a party for me and invited all of our relatives and some of the neighbours. Now, every time we have someone else's children in our house, I make sure to go to tell all of them they're not allowed in any bedrooms in the house, since it seems something gets ruined every single time we let kids run free. Usually since I get paranoid, I watch kids in my house like a hawk, since they're sneaky little rule breakers. But since it was my birthday, I had to sit and sang to and open presents. I've always had severe social anxiety, so this was torture to me, but I had suffered through being the centre of attention for the sake of my family. After the torture ended, I heard glass breaking from upstairs. I went up to my room to find my plasma ball shattered on the floor, and my neighbour's kid crying next to it. I checked to make sure the kid didn't get cut by the glass at first. He didn't, before the sadness set in from the realisation my plasma ball was destroyed. His mom ran into my room and immediately started yelling at me and asking me what I did to her kid. I told her that he went into my room after I asked all of the kids to stay out and broke my plasma ball. I expected to apologise for her kid and offered to pay for something, but no. She yelled at me for having something so dangerous in my room and told me I should be glad he didn't get hurt because she would have sued my family. I was so amazed that she was acting like that. I specifically asked every parent to keep their kids downstairs before asking the kids directly to stay out of the bedrooms. I gently mentioned this to her and didn't say much else because I always try to avoid confrontation at all costs, but she still stormed away to go yell at my mom. Luckily, my mom wasn't a doormat like me, so she basically told her to go fuck herself and that she wasn't welcome in our house anymore if she wasn't going to cover the cost of the plasma ball. She stormed out of the door with her kid and didn't talk to us until my mum had surgery, and she wanted my mum's pain pills for free because her mum was in pain, even though we all saw her mum gardening and jogging that same day. I'm 20 now, and I never have gotten another plasma ball because our house was foreclosed and we were homeless for a couple of months, not too long after that. But I think I will get a replacement since I have my own money now. My neighbour kid breaks my plasma ball, which my sole birthday present was off limits. After I told everyone my room was off limits, and his mum yelled at me for telling me we would have got sued if he got cut instead of offering to replace it. So that was quite a sad story, actually. So this kid broke his plasma ball, and his mum thinks that it was his fault for having such a dangerous thing. A plasma ball's not that dangerous. It's only because he went up there and knocked it off. So, I'm sorry, but it was really funny when his mum told the kid's mum to go fuck herself and wanted the pain. She wanted the pain pills because her mum was in. But it's sad that they ended up homeless, but now he's alright and he's got his own money, so yeah. Okay, this will be the last one for the video. Yeah, because this, I think every video when we read Reddit is going to be about 15 to 16 minutes. So, yeah, let's end it with this one. I was pretty young when somehow after a dentist appointment I'd gotten something messing with my lungs. I'm pretty sure it was bronchitis. Since I was very young and having quite a severe case of bronchitis with wheezing, I had to be placed in ER care. I remember being held down while this doctor injected this shot in me. I was in tears and completely terrified, and the nurse gave me a unicorn plushie for being so brave. I don't know how, because I was screaming and fighting the entire time, but okay. I wasn't there for this, but when I asked my parents why I was put in the hospital this time, they told me this story. When I was placed in a room for waiting parents, the room was divided by a curtain. Me and my family on one side, our entitled mom and kid on the other. Nonetheless, an endless coughing from both sides of the room. My parents were met with the eyes of entitled mom. After I got the shot and my plushie was transferred out of the room, my parents went back to the holding room to get their things and with my plushie so I don't lose it. They clashed with entitled mom and my mum and dad. Hey, that's a cute plushie, where'd you get it? Oh, after my daughter had a big shot, nurse gave it to her. Oh, so when will they give my daughter one? Probably when your kid gets treatment. Oh, no fair, how come I have to wait for treatment when your daughter gets treatment right away? It was only a shot. What's your daughter in for? She's been coughing, having a runny nose, having headaches, and is tired. My mum and dad look at each other with pure confusion. This woman must have gotten her Google Maps location wrong, because this was an ER unit, not primary care. That sounds like she had the cold. Why don't you take her to a normal doctor? Because primary care doctors take too long. Besides, my precious daughter is suffering. My parents were in disbelief in how entitled and stupid these parents were. So is ours. Dentist appointment turned into a hospital appointment. Too bad. I'm already a single mother and I have a poor baby girl to take care of. Your daughter probably just has a couple of sniffles. She was coughing and wheezing suspiciously after a dentist appointment. It could have been an allergic reaction. Look, the nurses can give you a new one. My little angel needs it more. At this point, my parents start to leave. My mum stuffed the toy in her purse, and both left. Unfortunately, the plushie must have fell out, because an hour or less later, they found the plushie in the bag. My dad knew immediately who the suspect was. They found no plushie in the bag, sorry. He told one of the nurses, and she came back after a couple of hours with my plushie, wet, moist with disinfectant. Nurse tells us the EM. So I had bronchitis, which is contagious. Plushie was given to EM's kid, and the kid had more symptoms, and I was terribly sick. At least entitled mom now had a reasonable excuse to be at the hospital. Entitled mom didn't really catch bronchitis from the plushie, but stupidly cuddles, hugs, comforts her kid while the kid was sick. She also got both bronchitis and whatever the kid had. She had to wear a mask and frequently wash her hands, so she didn't get any more people sick. Which is contagious. On top of that, when she was confronted about the plush, she denied the claims, then says, well, you can't have the plushie now. My daughter is sick. Oh, the doctor then said, at least you aren't wasting our time anymore since the kid has bronchitis, and now you do too. I still enjoy my plushie. I got a couple of hope you get better soon cards while I was there. When we were at the lobby signing out, or whatever you have to do to have a release, we saw entitled mom. Entitled mom was wearing a mask and was waiting for something. A kid who probably had chemo because their head was bald, had trouble staying awake, had a mask, blah blah blah. Entitled mom sees a penguin plushie in the kid's hand. She goes up to this poor kid and snatches the plushie from the kid. Sad part was the kid looked really upset, but too sick and tired to put up a fight. The nurses said some girl snatched back the plushie, and the entitled mom was pissed. She has the audacity to take the mask off and cough all over the kid's face. The nurse flipped out, calling security, and then them coming immediately, containing the entitled mom. Poor kid was rushed out over to an emergency unit, probably to check if she'd gotten bronchitis. My aunt told me the rest of the karma part because I was going home from the hospital. Aunt says cops showed up and cuffed the EM. They most likely arrested her for endangering ill minors. At least the hospital had finally got a break from that psychotic, entitled mom. So, well, that was more a satanic mum than an entitled mum. So she coughed in a cancer patient's face when she had bronchitis. She took 2 plushies away. How selfish is that mum? She gave her kid and herself bronchitis, and probably a cancer patient bronchitis. These entitled parents just make me laugh. So, let me know in the comments if you want me to do a part 2 to this video. I might do something like choosing beggars or something like that. So, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next weekend with another video. Goodbye. Hello, guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know I said I'd upload daily, but I think now we'll go for every weekend. So, today, the first proper video on my channel, we're going to be looking at some Reddit. I've just recently got it. So we're going to be looking at entitled parents. I'm hoping to make this into a little series. I did get this idea off r/the YouTube channel, but I'm not trying to copy him. I just want to read some Reddit posts. Okay, so a few years ago, I was camping with my family and cousins. My mum's friend also decided to come with us, bringing her 2 children and husband. Sure, whatever. They aren't that bad, I guess. Mom's friend, you know what entitled parent is? Entitled kid. Me, Barack Obama. Me and my cousins, about 4 of them were there, between ages 5 and 11, were bored. So we decided to make a little film trailer on iMovie. We gathered together and decided to use a rather cool-looking section of the forest behind a vacant campsite as our set. We asked entitled kid if she'd like to join us, and she declined, deciding to rather focus on other activity. Okay, sure, no problem. We headed into the forest and filmed a rather kick-ass horror movie trailer, if I do recall. Then we walked back to the main area. Everyone was about an hour later. We showed the adults our film, and they were all impressed by what a bunch of pre-teens and little children created. Entitled kid wasn't happy and got upset, telling her mom that she wanted to be in the movie, but we wouldn't let her. Conversation went like this: "Hey, how come you didn't let entitled kid be in your movie?" We asked her, and she didn't want to be. Well, then just refilm it. What? Delete the one you have there and refilm it with entitled kid. We spent over an hour making the movie, and it's getting late. We can't refilm it. Just head back into that site and make it over again. In what could have been either perfect timing or divine intervention, a truck of towing large trailer pulled into the very site and began to set up. We could no longer enter that part of the forest. Entitled kid was pissed. Entitled parent wasn't happy, and the rest of us were happy with our little film. Entitled parent's family has done other things that have rewarded them a bad reputation in our family group, and sigh as often when we arise when they are so much as mentioned in a conversation, and that's my story. So that one was a bit a selfish kid who said she didn't want to be in the film, and then says that got upset and got jealous basically because she wanted to be in the film. I'm sorry, kid, that's your own fault. So the next one